Okay, thank you. And I'm going to say welcome, but I'm not welcoming you because I'm the host. My name is Tapsile Kumo. I'm your facilitator today. Before we start, may I please ask that we spend a moment of reflection in the way that best serves you. Thank you. Thank you. It is my pleasure to call our host, and in my culture, I was tempted, but then protocol doesn't allow, so I'm very honored to call upon our host, Dume Judy. We are humbled that you gathered us here today on a topic this important. Thank you.
Thanks very much, Tapsile. As indicated, my name is Judy Jamili. I'm the co-founder of Sifiso Publishers, and my husband, the handsome husband here, is the other part. Please stand, Susan. So we are your hosts. Sifiso Publishers is a subsidiary to Sifiso Learning Group, which we founded about 2 years ago. And why Sifiso Publishers? We actually had observed, and I had been a victim of that you actually struggle to have an authentic African voice in a book because the publisher wants to make it sound the way he or she believes will sound. And sometimes that doesn't appeal to the authentic African voice. We write books, we publish books to inspire, to inform, and to empower. Today is a very special day. It's about our honored guest, Usis Age. I call her Usis Age. And it's very important because I've known Usis Age for a very long time. And each time I met her, it was around doing something for other people. Some people are just called to serve others. And her profession as a social worker is just that, and she lives it. I met her on the teacher awards that she organized for many years with AgriCluster Foundation that was taking care of kids that were orphaned by HIV and AIDS. And then I meet her again before her important birthday when she said, there's a story I need to tell and I need support for this story. It takes a lot to use your pain to inform others and make it better because you told your story. So I would like to thank her family. It's Commissioner Angie Makwetla officially, though I call her Sis Angie. I would like to thank Minake Bobby Makwetla and the whole family. Dombela, right? Thank you so much for being here and allowing us into your pain so that we can learn something and we can stop the scourge on gender-based violence and femicide. I just want to say one or two things which really made me say to Sis Angie, you've always wanted to do these dialogues, let's do it. On the 22nd of August, we launched the book Femicide, written by Sis Angie and also with the family members that were affected by losing the two daughters. She'll tell you more about it. And one of the people, the guests that were at the launch was Dr. Tandi. 2 days later, she passed away. While I was still just making sense of that, I went to a memorial service and I went to a funeral. And in each case, it was for the first time for me, though it wasn't for people that were close to me, to know that someone so accomplished, there are just certain people that you don't associate with certain things, rightly or wrongly. Utandi was accomplished in all spheres of life. And I would never imagine Tandi being abused by her husband, but she was. While I was still grappling with that, and it shook me, you know. While I was still grappling with that, we had the issue of Uyinene, we had the 4 kids that were hanged by the it was just like, you know, when you feel like the ground is shaking, you feel vulnerable, you're scared, you're so disillusioned. And we then said, Sisi, we need to do this dialogue like yesterday. That is why we're here. I'll now hand you over to Tapsilia, who's our facilitator, who will introduce the panel.
Thank you so much for the welcome, and I'm glad that we've got a diverse audience, because this is it's about gender and it's not about women. For the first time we are all gathered in one room, and what is important is today we are having a conversation across generation. When I look around, I see young women, I see women of generations before us, and I hope that we will be enriched today. We'll be able to move beyond the social media hashtags, because it's no longer business as usual in our country. And maybe 50 people are doing something, maybe 1,000 people are doing something. Today, whatever the number is, at the end of this day, I'm going to ask that we start doing something. We cannot stand by and watch our children die. We cannot stand by and watch our young men become monsters. We are raising these boys. We have something to do with it. We are the ones who are singing the songs, Habana Banyala, Re unali kissed. You must come back kissed. The narrative has got to change. So hopefully that's what we are going to do. And hopefully Ma'am Angie, who has brought us all here today, will actually give us a snippet from her generation in terms of why are we here today. But before we do that, I'd like for us to stand and observe a moment of silence for some of the names that were mentioned, for the names of every young man and young woman, every grandmother, every mother, and everyone who has suffered or has died as a result of gender violence. Thank you. May they not just be names, may they not be forgotten, maybe we use their names to change our world. May Angie, I'm just going to give you a few minutes to just tell us why we're here today, particularly tapping into your pain and telling us what you are seeing and what you have seen that resulted in you penning the book, Femicide. May I ask that we stand in honor and in respect of May Angie. And some hands would be great too.
But also a lot of joy and happiness at seeing faces that I have not seen for a while. I was saying to some of the people, it looks like an early Christmas, you know, when you see although the topic that that has brought us here is not a very joyful one. But thank you very much for taking time out of your Saturday afternoon to be with us. Now, one thing that this book has done, and that I am truly grateful for, is to open up dialogue. This is a topic that has been hidden for many years. And I think writing this book, what I was saying is that femicide does not belong to my family. I don't want it. I want it out. I want it out there. So I decided to put everything in writing. My family, my sister is here on behalf of the other siblings for allowing me to share their family's pain. It's taken us a long time. I remember, because I'm Catholic, I remember even talking to our Archbishop and saying to him, there is this thing that has come back twice in my family. What do we do? And he said, if you want me to come and exorcise, you know, in the Catholic Church, when we take out evil spirits, we call it exorcism. So we have prayed about it, and I still pray. And when you read this book and you go to the last pages, you will find a prayer over femicide. And my intention, Dr. Judy, is that I want to talk to the South African Catholic Bishops' Conference. I want to talk to the South African Council of Churches and all the churches to say this prayer must be spread to all the churches so that we pray about this thing. Reminds me of Archbishop Desmond Tutu. You saw him when he was angry and saying, ANC, watch out, we'll pray for you. So we must pray over this enemy so that it goes away. I've heard people talk about the elephant in the room. This is the elephant in the nation. We need to put it there and slice it up in small pieces and throw it away. Because femicide does not belong to any community, it does not belong to any family, it does not belong to any nation. It is not fair. It truly is not fair that young, beautiful women have their lives cut short. And what makes it more painful is that their lives are cut short by people that said they love them. How do you say to a person, I love you, and a few years down the line, you kill them because you think you love them? And that is why it's also very important to guard the music that our young people, that our children listen to. You know, songs like, if I can't have you, nobody else can. Some people take it literally, and they go and kill. And what is also sad is that young women die with protection orders in their hands. And that is why the police also need to be educated. We need to go to SAP. Cecilia is here. She will help us to say to the South African Police Services, it is time we stop the nonsense that when a woman goes to report a case of abuse, then you get told, why you are a beautiful woman, go home. Or they ask you, what did you do to him? That is wrong. Because and you see, what is also painful is that South Africa has got beautiful laws. Oh wow. You know, our constitution has got the Bill of Rights, the right to safety, the right to the dignity of life. But when it comes to implementation, we forget that. We have signed conventions, we have signed protocols, regionally, internationally. We need to domesticate them. They must be ours. Sepom, when you hear him just now, he was telling us just now, he was at the African Union in Addis recently, talking about gender-based violence. Now, I'm very comforted by the fact that we still need to have more men amongst us. Because women are not perpetrators of femicide. We are not killing each other. And we have talked amongst ourselves sufficiently. We need the men. We need men who will help us to bring up young men that respect women, that respect life, that understand that violence is not the solution. So we need to work together as South Africans. We really need to work together to say violence in jail must come to an end. Why are people so angry? Why are people so angry in this country? We are a country full of violence, full of anger, full of walking wounded people. We must get to the bottom of those wounds. Start healing them, so that we have a normal nation, a normal society. Thank you.
That was so heartfelt, but very saddening. So I think each and every one of us sitting here today, we have been touched by the violence. Some of us have been the aunties who, when they come and say, let's work it out so you can go back and send our children back to their abusers. I hope we will feel in the NG, particularly in black communities, where You know, I'm hoping today we'll begin to slowly unveil the Batho ba tla reng, because the more people know, the more they know there's a problem. And the more they know there's a problem, there will be a solution. On that note, I'd like to call our esteemed panel, starting with a colleague of mine, Ukhanyi Chaba. Ukhanyi is the trustee of the Dr. Ndlovu Children's Foundation and a founder and chairperson of SAWIC. Let us welcome her. Dr. Tshepo Mokoena is involved in Moving Ahead Development Agency, but you will remember Ukarabo Mokoena is the uncle. We are honored in that. And I'm glad we've got a young person amongst us, Ukarabo Mokhonyana. She's involved in the UN Population Fund in the advisory, also with SA Next Generation Voices in South Africa, and I think that is very important. Next Voices, Judy spoke about us having authentic conversations. May we empower you to have an authentic voice from this session. And of course, Ntate Mbuyiselo Botha, who doesn't really need any introduction, who is involved in everything that's got to do with gender issues. And May Angie wanted to come back to the panel. I will welcome you back into the panel. Thank you so much. Guys, thank you so much for being here today. We're very, very honored that we are here, but let's just get on to it. And I'd like to just give you time to reflect on, and given your different experiences, because you all each represent a constituency. Starting with you, Dr. Botha, what is this thing and why are we here?
There's an element of impunity. And what I mean by that is that we rape, we kill because we care. If I knew that when I raise my hand, or when I rape, that there are consequences, and I'm not talking about the easy, simple, bring it back the death penalty. If in this country, if I knew that there are real consequences, and the consequences I'm talking about are they vary, but the one I want to talk about is that if I know that I will surely be ostracized, I will show you that no one will play golf with me, no one will drink beer with me. And these are the social consequences I'm talking about. But above that, and look, for many, many years, some of us have been, this war is in the wilderness, so that saying that unless as a country we talk about the boy child, and I'm not saying it in a drivel manner, I'm saying real stuff. A week ago, I was at a high school called Merton High School. I was talking to a group of grade 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. It's shocking what our boys are thinking. They're saying, here's the question. I said, look, I can implement it. Please tell me in simple words, why do they get it? I mean, the boys there will say, look, timer, I'll stand. Ravuke, and I actually give it to her. Loosely translated that, we get aroused, and about the feelings. Look, I want you to conjure in your mind, Banaba grade 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. But before we even jump on condemning them, I mean, listening to them, I was seeing myself, I was hearing myself, that what these boys were saying, and the teachers were, in fact, they were an embodiment of a manifestation of how we say things, how see the things, how all of us think is made. So it's easy to say, and to lambast them, condemn them. I'm saying we're here because of what had happened yesterday to all of us. It's the deep-seated upbringing that all of us here must be responsible, or we're responsible. Unless, look, you can't just say that get men involved, get the boy child. To do what must they do? And that's the question. In our planning, I was saying to Dr. Judy that I hope that this would not be part of when you become a conference hall, that you go to all of them, you or you become like a chicken balls. Like, I attended to school, we went to, it was wonderful this Saturday. There has to be practical actions that we take. And ask the question, those boys in those schools, they need us. Thank you.
Thank you. And kindly, I would like for you to represent two voices. A voice that you see, and a voice that Dr. Tanji believes. Because her story is confusing. We've always thought it is a poor woman's problem. She is staying because she needs something. She is desperate. Now here is a woman who was well accomplished, did not need anything. Why are we there, and what was it?
Thank you for the opportunity. And please allow me to be emotional if I want to, because it's still a deep pain that Dr. T, we're talking about here in her past. I was fortunate enough to spend the last moments of Dr. T's life, and when she shared her story openly, it seemed like she was saying to us, enough man, to start talking about this thing. Let people know, let's share our story so that we begin to give a different face to what is called gender-based abuse, particularly women abuse. Dr. T's voice is the voice that says, Kanye, if that could happen to me, what about women who don't have the resources that I have? The biggest issue for her was that when she eventually decided to look for help, she couldn't find it. And it only got to her at the point when she had to phone a few people that she knew. And she said, imagine if I didn't know those people. Because everybody, as Mama was saying, as Dr. Judy was saying earlier, would not have expected Dr. T to go through what she went through. Two things that she shared with me, because I was like, why? Number one, she said, I loved him. Just pure love. And at some point, she loved him enough to think that he was going to change one day. Number two, which is very painful, she said, Kenya, I didn't want to disappoint you and all the young women who are looking up to me. So I think we are here today because we need to change that. If we tell the truth, and she told her truth, and she's telling it to me and to us, and this is how we can only honor women like her. And she told the truth because she said, enough now. We have to live truthfully so that others don't have to go through the same. The other voice is my own voice. I had known Dr. T for 27 years. And it was only this year when I shared with her my own experience in my first marriage of abuse. And again, for the 27 years that I've known her, I've never shared the story. And her biggest pain was, maybe I would have made a different choice if you had shared your story with me. So I think we're here because we're looking for answers. And I think all the campaigns and all the PR messages, enough now. Now it's about truthfully what is it that we are faced with. And I think it's everything that Barbara has mentioned here.
Thank you so much. Yours is a very difficult conversation, obviously as families, where our young girls are involved in beautiful relationships. On hindsight, why did it happen?
My name is Tsepo Mkwena. Let me first apologize to all the women of this world as a man. I need to apologize to say we are treating you very unfair because you carry us for 9 months. You experience, the first poo and put a diaper on us. But when we grow up and speak, we turn against you. I need to apologize. I'm a son of a mother. I have a brother. I have a daughter. And I don't want them to experience gender-based. I need to share a simple story. I went with a friend to visit another friend. And we were talking business. And wife of the other friend we were visiting was very gorgeous, beautiful. My friend was not concentrating, was not focused, was not even answering, questions that were asked to us. And then we left. The first thing my friend said when we jumped into the car, he said, "Mfazwane if I can help it." And that is the discussion we talk as well. Because when we see little us, we don't talk how we can say we are dressed as the pastor, because all what we say is Ishmanga Munga. And we Arakanema, let me keep in mind. All what we see, we just see the organ that is between the legs. That's all what we see. Because that is our language. And I'm included. I'm not excluding myself. And until such time that the pain came home, then I felt the pain. But let me check, before, I was like any I would exercise a little bit of anger when my ex-wife was speaking. And that's why today she's the best friend I ever had. And I'm saying the biggest challenge about men is the ego. We have useless ego. We always want to be on top of women. What you said about that woman who passed on, I didn't know it. I tried to know the husband. And the poor woman, the reason why she suffered was the man had an empty. If the guy would have swallowed the ego, then became a real man, the poor woman wouldn't have suffered. I think the next time I want to address a forum, I don't want to talk to men. I want to talk to men. 2015, that thing was done. I came up with a program called the Boys to Men Mentoring, where I was taking 5 boys from each province. And those were boys raised without father figures. Influential men from the government, they said I'm crazy. Nobody wanted to sponsor it. I went to the Netherlands and spoke to a company called SEP. They sponsored it because I identified that the problem is the young men. What you said. Because when they see the little girl, they don't see the mother. They don't see a friend. They just see this object that is undressed and be raped and manipulated and be killed. And it's because that's how we raised it as well, as men. Because we don't respect our own wives. How do we respect our own boys? To respect young women out there. Because they think it's a norm. That umfazi uyathuwa, umfazi is a one-night stand, umfazi is what? To them, they don't see anything wrong. It's because of us. So if we, as elders, can change, those boys will change. And that's why my theme about the Boys to Men is, it is very hard to change a broken man, but it's very easy to develop and change a young man. I thank you.
interested, Carol. A lot of beautiful, and when I talk beautiful, I'm not talking the way we define beauty. I'm talking about every young woman. What gets young women your age in situations where they get abused and stay?
Thank you. I think before I even answer the question, I think I just want to share that it's very hard being a reflection of every woman that you see on the news having an identity like yours. And you start thinking, am I truly next? And a lot of the stories you hear that the woman didn't really do much. It was very much one-sided. And when the whole scourge came out, like me and a lot of my friends were like, you're not going to go out, going to school is tough. You know, a lot of things were very scary. We need to wear our t-shirts closed up. We need to be wearing tight shoes so that if we need to run away, we are able to do such things. So it's very, very scary, and I think it's important for us to have these conversations, but to open up these conversations to not only intergender, but also intersexual conversations. So, just to answer your question, I think that I would say that women stay because they want to. It's a lot of power imbalances. It's a lot of, I think that a lot of this comes from very innocent principles, traditional principles, cultural principles, religious principles that are very innocent, mind you. But something as simple as me coming home and I'm seeing my mom cook, or, you know, me coming home and I see my mom cook always. It's a very innocent thing. But probably in the back of the father's head, this is, I'm above you. In the back of my little brother's head, I'm above you. All these very innocent principles, you know, a woman should submit to a man, very innocent principle. But now these principles are interpreted in a way that a woman is viewed as under a man, and a man is viewed as above a woman. And if she can't do what I want her to do, I will make her do it. And I think that I think in our generation, it is a bit more different. We are a little bit more empowered, but there is still a lot of silence. And I think the silence could come from the benefits, the need for that person. You start feeling like you need that person. You start feeling like without them, how is the rest of the people going to see me? It's always about the outside world from our generation's perspective, because our generation is not still at a point whereby the guy needs to provide for me and whatsoever. We're very much independent. We're very much, you know, liberated. We can provide for ourselves. We can do those things. And it's not a general thing for everybody, but it's a matter of what will the other people see me as. What, especially if we publicize our relationship, we are the couple goals for everybody else. I would rather stay and bear this because this contributes to my reputation in a way that just being me would not. And I think we need to empower a sense of economic empowerment, independence in women to feel like I really don't need them. Even in the situation of couple goals and whatsoever, I can be self-goals.
Thank you. That must be a sobering reflection from a very young person, but I mean, from your generation, she mentions religion, she mentions culture. I mean, can you reflect on the role that both religion and culture, particularly because we've inherited it from your generation, is playing, has played to why we are here today with the challenges?
Yeah, it's very difficult. You know, I was listening to Garabo talking and thinking of all the beautiful women, young women, that hand their lives over to men. But I think that as the older generation of women, we've got to change our language. We've got to change our attitudes. when a young woman reaches 20, 21, 22, 23, we start asking, "Unyana, bana baka?" And that is what pushes beautiful young women into the hands, and I'm sorry to say, sometimes of monkeys, that then go and abuse them. So we have got to change our language. And also the fact that habana banyala or banyalwa, then we have this circle where we are supposed to give them guidance. And then we say, don't come back. Divorce. In other words, go and die. Whatever happens, don't talk. And then we say, don't hang your dirty linen in public. Indaba zasekamereni ziphelele kamereni. So noma ushayiwe kuzophelele kamereni. So the older generation of women, we have got to stop. Stop putting our children under pressure. And then, of course, when it comes to religion, in the Catholic Church, there's no divorce, you're not allowed to. But there are ways of working through it. There's an annulment where, we need to know these things and we need to be able to investigate. Nabafundisi must be available to talk to us and to talk to us openly about such issues.
Thank you. I'd like to just take another round and starting back to you, which is my pressing question, the mother-in-law in this equation. So come as a mother-in-law, why are things the way they are? And as we close out, I want to give the people the opportunity to ask questions. What could we do differently? The people who are here, who are potential mothers-in-law, who are sisters to bad mother-in-laws, what must they do? What must they say when they go tweet, when they go back home? Yes.
I think at times we perpetuate what we have taught our children. We are afraid to be proved wrong. So I will say to my son, ask Abubaila, instead of saying to him, you can't do that. I remember one of my sisters called me once, and the son had assaulted the wife, and I went, and I was a bit lenient because it was the first time it had happened. So I went and fetched this young woman because she had run away, she was at home. I brought her back, and I sat them down. And I said, here she is, I brought her. You dare touch her again, I will come and fetch you and take you to. He never did it again. That is what we need. I have 2 daughters in love, and I call them deliberately my daughters in love. And they call me Mom in Love. Because they have come into the family, they look after my sons, so why should I treat them badly? The fact that I was brought up, it's got nothing to do with They are young women, they have come into my family, they have come to build their own families, so why should I treat them badly? And women, we are our own worst enemies. We perpetuate this badness, this hatred amongst ourselves. It's got to stop. It's got to stop somewhere. If you don't want your sons to get married, tell them not to get married. Don't allow them to go and get these young women, bring them into your family, into the family, and then you yourself treat them badly. Because you were probably treated badly by your own mother-in-law.
Thank you. Karabo, I'm a mother of teenagers, and the stories we hear as our children go to universities, our parents saying, we try to get her out. How can us as parents, as uncles, as communities, get young women engaged out of the blessings, out of the young men who have struggled, held them on the basis of economic benefits?
Economic empowerment. I think that there's been, a culture of reliance from the girl's side that I need him. He's gonna hold me when I fall. economic empowerment is important because when I'm economically empowered, I don't need anybody. I don't need to rely on anybody else to realize my worth. And I think just empowering women economically is the first step. But I think also silence is problematic. We normally speak about this at the sight of news, at the sight of a story, and a story that gets public attention. But the reality is that we all know these things are happening within our communities. They are happening every week, every day, but we're keeping quiet. And that's a problem. And I think also approach is important when you as a mother are talking to me about these things. It shouldn't be sort of, because a lot of the older generation uses a prevention approach to talking to young people. Don't do this, don't have sex. I need to know why. I truly need to know why. Tell me, don't do this because this is what's going to happen. Because young people are curious. They're very curious. And if you don't tell me why, and it happens to me, that's only when I'm going to know the why. And I could be laying in my grave, and I wouldn't have known why. Mama said I shouldn't do that.
Wow. Today we have been a family that's gone through this, and I think how can families come together instead of talking against each other about the story to begin to work towards protecting their young boys from becoming, but also unwrestling their children who are already in these situations collectively as a generation.
I want to answer the question, but I just wanted to add what Nemakweka said. Every time when I speak to people, I give examples. And I sometimes talk about me because I want people to understand, especially men and mothers. I also want to talk to mothers. I think I spoke to men, but I also want to address mothers because of what happened to my niece. I'm not going to divulge a lot, but when I grew up and I met a beautiful young girl that I wanted to marry, and this story I'm telling you, it just came up when Karabo passed on. She was brutally murdered and burned. I was fortunate that I used to work for an insurance company, so I was driving a nice car. And I was a little bit older to the girl that I loved so much. But the father then said, this boy can't come here. Because he looks older, he's got a car, he's going to abuse my daughter and all that. You know how fathers protect their daughters. By then, all what I wanted was this young boy. And you know what the mother did was? He then sent the daughter to the aunt, someone big. And the daughter called me to say, no, my mom has told my father that I'm visiting the aunt. So you must come and pick me up from the aunt. I remember I come from Dipu, Soweto. So I went to pick up the daughter from the aunt. We went wherever we wanted to go over the weekend, take back the daughter to the aunt. It was fun, it was okay. And the young girl was now telling me more about the family and everything, how cruel is the father, how bad is the father doesn't want her to go and everything. It was fun for me because I was a young man, I didn't understand. But now, I understand that actually that family gave away the daughter. Actually, that family made me to undermine the father. And it was because of the mother. And I'm imagining now that what happened if we were involved in an accident, when we both died, or maybe the girl died or be crippled. So this message goes to our mom. You are giving us the power because you want to please the daughter. Now you are saying the daughter must go to the aunt and the father mustn't know. And that's why when you listen to the news, Karabo Mokoena is my brother's daughter. The young man, Sandile, actually said, Karabo Mokoena did not have the relationship with the father. Remember, it was on the news. It was not to say that Karabo did not have the relationship with the father. It was the daughter who was smuggled all the time when the father said no to certain things. So, Kelan Fugabuma, I thank you.
Kanye, for me, the prestige of having it all together, particularly for women who have achieved. How do we deal with violence in a context that expects you to have it all together?
Firstly, I just feel like hugging you, but I'm not going to because I don't want to be accused of sexual abuse. I think if men can own up like how you're doing now, it's part of the solution. And secondly, women having it all together. The question you asked Mama Angie, the role of the mother-in-law. So my second husband, and let's pray that it lasts with the second number two. We don't want another one. In our rural areas, there is this culture, and I'm not sure if Mama Angie are aware of, like, in fact, all my mothers-in-laws were very disappointed that they've never heard me complain, they've never seen me cry, they've never seen me having a scar. So I was very proud that no, but my husband hasn't done anything to me. They said, what? How shabby? How right? I promise you. For them, and one of them told the scars of my fathers-in-laws, where they were saying, to show for it they loved us, this is how they used to beat us. That is one of the biggest issues Dr. Judy was asking us during the week. What are we going to do differently? That's part of what we need to do differently. The language, the narrative, the understanding. And the taking a step back to understand exactly where does this problem come from. Imagine the young girls growing up in Mokopane being told this thing every day, then allow it. And then having it all, also I'm this Makoti who comes from Johannesburg, I have it all. So to them, I'm this high flyer, high achiever, and therefore nothing could go wrong. And I think because the world allows us to be seen, to be positioned that we are so together, it becomes so difficult to say actually it is not together. So I think at the point where we find ourselves now, in fact, after my speech at Dr. T's funeral, do you know the number of powerful women in this country who came to me and said, Kanye, you're telling my story? I promise you. People that would never even think they go through this. So there's many of us. So I think for me, we need to create the space of safety that if, with all the money that I may have and all the position and all the culture and the friends, why was it difficult for Dr. T to call even one of her powerful friends? It's because she was not trusting that they will treat her story with respect. And I think that's where it lies, because it starts with a gossip and another gossip. A powerful woman, a warrior and a soldier like her, it's something that should have been so easy. Because I used to say to Dr. T when she told us, I'm like, Dr. T, with the kind of friends that you have, me, nobody was going to touch me. In fact, went to Dedelange just to see something. Why she did not do that was because her friends had also put her in that position that says you are untouchable. So I think that's where we need to begin to change things and really be allowed to be. But have that space. You know, there's so many places of safety. I've been doing research around where does a woman like Dr. T go to? There aren't many. because many places of safety are for women who are thought not to have. So those who have, you can only go to your psychologist and your psychiatrist and bribe them not to tell the world. But there's no place of safety for women in that position because we're supposed to have it anyway. And I think part of the solutions now is to start creating those places, invest in those infrastructure institutions where women can simply go in with their bags and their shoes and their lipstick and put it on the corner and say, you know, I'm not okay. And somebody should say, you've come to the right place.
I think we said we've got a lot of experience in gender-related issues. I mean, we've been at this since the early 90s. And my question is, what is making this thing not move? I mean, we've got beautiful laws, we conference ourselves into a tears, we have campaigns, I mean, we're close to every 16 days and we've been having a whole lot of those. Why is it not changing? Particularly because we've got all the systems in place to be able to get us there.
Hey, that's difficult. Yeah. But one of the things that we're not talking about is that, and there's a lady here who comes from gun-free South Africa. One of the things that we don't talk about is, why don't we have a campaign in this country that no one should have guns? What are we doing with so many guns in our country? We're not at war, but you know that there are studies that say that the number of people who die in our country are even far more than countries at war. So what I'm saying is that they are low-hanging fruits, quick wins, that can kill. And one of them is that I don't understand that until now. Why don't we, I mean, all of us here, why is it that in the discussions and in the, I've never heard this, but you know what? It's important that South Africans get this out. That no one must have, I mean, there are countries in the world that don't have guns, especially as civilians. And the rate of violence in those countries is in fact zero or next to nothing. Look, when we talk about also that women die with protection orders, a police, men and women, could not even have a clue how to execute a protection order, would allow a police officer who's going to serve the protection order on another colleague who has a gun. In Krugersdorp, this woman says they allowed the husband to say, but you know, I've got something in my bedroom, before you said this, let me go and check something else. No one followed him, no one did anything, comes back, shoots almost everybody. So if you ask me, you know, the hard work that all of us must do, and I at the risk of being verbose, the hard work is, and then I think the young woman who one day, I say to my last born daughter that Nane, no one must ask you, Oshaka, where you come from. I'm not the only person who asks you that. And I'm happy that she's made an amazing relationship with an amazing young man. But unless we also, other than guns, other than when policemen and women, they know that there are real consequences. There is no level of impunity. They will not deal with this the violence. But again, Dr. Julie, one of the things that we don't do is, how many of us know of who killed Annie Boyce? You see, we must move away from talking about Ghana, but talk about Sandy, so that I'm able to say, you see this president? Look, this man is a rapist. This man is a murderer. So that, look, you then move away from making carbon to say that in this country, there this man. This man is the one who killed Anin Boyce. This man, so that they have a face, you bring the face to it. Because what we do then, we focus in the wrong direction. And on the survivor, unless we say that, look, these men are the ones that are violent, so that I'm able to say, Ukaraba, Ubali, how Shela, Ubali, because there's a face to it. Unless we say that, look, Donald Trump is an embodiment of what is toxic masculinity. So that you don't spend that in the team. So that you see what we tend to do. That's why the bodies that do research on are black bodies. You can't go to Dane Fair and do a research on GBV. They will tell you, no, you don't go there. But they point them to these shows. Unless we say, but inside the White House, there is someone, an incumbent who is a manifestation or an embodiment of what is toxic about being made in the world. Someone would say, women, I touched their pussy, man, I touched them. Openly, publicly, a leader of the first world says this unashamedly. What am I saying? I'm saying, unless we name and shame, unless we say, so that you then move away from the women that have been killed, but you then come back and say, these are the men that have killed with these women. These are the people that must focus on. I mean, all of us here, if I ask you, how many of you know Anin Boyce's medal? And you would know Karabo because it was, Sandile was open, public, it was in the news and what. But if you go to Katlehong and say, but you know, there's that lady Wakumano who was killed by the DJ. Do you remember the DJ's name? Hasuke's boyfriend. Hasuke, who remembers Hasuke's boyfriend? Who really knows this story? But it makes us feel good, because then you know that there are these lamentations and you are not able to say, look, here's where the problem is. And unless you name it, you deal with it.
Thank you so much. Firstly, thank you to the panelists. I'd like to open it up, but I think Tate Botha put a very critical point in that we don't know what we're dealing with. We can't identify, you know, when we were growing up, but we do not know the kind of men that our young women must be running away from, even our older women, because we have not profiled them. But on that note, I'd like to open it up to you as members of the audience. If you can just put up your hand and your name, and you can either give us an input or ask a question, starting with you, Tate Botha.
Let me thank the panel for this really, really important discussion. A few things have been touched on which are really extremely important, especially, and I want to just highlight, especially those that have been said by Muselo and Muselo. And maybe let me just start with religion. Because I've been in a number of situations. We're very fortunate that we have schools, and we can play our role in addressing the issue of a boy child, particularly when it comes to gender-based violence. But also, it is important to have conversations with girls, men, and women as well. And I want to touch on religion. Since NJ has talked about religion, there's nothing that makes me mad, sad, angry as when a couple is getting married and they read Ephesians. They read Ephesians that says women must submit to men in everything, and all we need to do as men is to love women like we love our bodies. I think as people, I mean, the Bible was written probably by men. I think it was written by men. And they were men, guys. I don't think the Bible was written, by. And obviously, you can find any chapter in the Bible that suits your story. But that particular story, that particular Ephesians chapter 5, verse 22 to 33, honestly, as people, particularly as black people, where this thing afflicts us the most. When our daughters are getting married, when our partners are getting married, we must just refuse that chapter is going to be read in our weddings. Oh no, honestly, because I don't think it's appropriate. I don't think it's appropriate to read the chapter. You can Google it, you can see it in your phone if you wish. I just honestly don't think in this day and age we can allow a scripture like that to be read in our weddings. But also, when Karabo was killed and burned, this touched us as a family very, very close. You may not know in Butepo, because Karabo's body was dumped at the corner of our school in Midwest. So that's where Karabo's body was dumped. And we felt a very deep connection with it. And from then on, we started having conversations. We started actually writing. Brought all our staff, our teachers, our admin staff to say, guys, we can't pretend as if this Karabo thing, this really tragic incident, only happened there, and that's the end of the story. Because amongst us, this thing happens every day. And some of us, as men sitting here, are even responsible for some of these actions. So we're sitting here in a round, discussion. So obviously we're men, we're women. I was the only man who was talking, and all the women that we have in our group were talking. And like a few minutes later, I'm like, well, how can it be that this is just a women's issue? It can't just be a women's issue. Why are men quiet? And then slowly, they said, no, but, we feel, there were a lot of discussions. We feel we can't really say much here for a whole raft of reasons. And then there was a suggestion, we had to find solutions. The solution was, okay, the suggestion was, let's have a group for men, a discussion for men, and a separate discussion for women. Initially I said, no, but that's rubbish. And then men said, no, but there's certain things we can't say here. We can't say in this forum. And to cut long story short, we then agreed that we'll have groups of men and boys have discussions and have discussions with women, but it is important for all of us to come back with solutions and talk together, because we can't have this men's forum and this women's forum, and then there's no solution that involves all of us. Anyway, and because some of the things that were mentioned there was that, it was about how we are brought up very often. I was brought up very differently. I was brought up by a mother who made no distinctions between us, and I have 6 siblings, so the 7 of us. 3 sisters, 3 brothers. So we were brought exactly the same. Everybody had to wash dishes, everybody had to do the washing, everybody had to work in the garden, including my disabled sister, who had to do men's chores. So I never saw the difference when I was growing up between the two. And my mother was like a man, because my father was an alcoholic. She was like our father and mother, and if she needed to discipline men, she did so. I don't want to go into it, but she did. If there was a teacher at school who was causing trouble for me or my siblings, she was there. Like immediately, she sorted out that man. So, I grew up in that kind of environment. But people were saying, some were saying, no, but you go to the mountain. And when you go to the mountain, in addition to what religion says to us, in our homes, in the mountain, if we go and get circumcised, this is what we are told. So there are a lot of these things, the religious and cultural norms, that have to change. That have to change if we're going to address this thing systemically. Just in our schools, we started as part of that process unpacking it because we've got to make it real. Because initially when we started having discussions in our schools, at Future Nation schools, you know, people don't understand, they think it's only the manners. And when we started unpacking it in terms of things that boys particularly do every day, in terms of emotional abuse of girls, or men emotional abusing women, because it happens every day in our workplace. It happens every day in our homes. Emotional, what does it look like? What is emotional abuse? If excluding someone, like in a group of boys that decide, no, we're going to exclude these girls, and maybe we have access to academic material which is better, and you know, cyberbullying, which is another category, is a big thing in schools. And we're just talking about it at our schools when, you know, as part of this process for GBV, that, you know, today, especially with social media, you have MMSs, you can take the boys, typically, they think they're funny. They take girls' pictures, they manipulate them, and then they laugh. They think they're being funny. They say, no, but you can't do this. So they didn't recognize that as women abuse. They thought they were just being cool. You know, and physical abuse. I mean, we've had a few cases of physical abuse. There's only a few men who are prepared to get involved in the lives of their children at school. Women always come, but you've got to then mobilize those men that are there, because in the absence of role models, in the absence of men that are upright, the only picture that boys see is a picture of their fathers who are upset, and that's not. That's a norm. And it's become even worse, as Karabo was saying, as women have become more empowered. It's not getting better, it actually gets worse. Well, because, I mean, if you go to universities today, more than 60% of the enrolled students are women. More than 60% are women. I mean, in our own schools, we have an awards function at our campuses coming up because it's going towards the end of the year. And I'll tell you now, the prizes are collected by women, by girls.
Yes.
And that begs the question, what's happening to a boy child, what's happening to a man? And if 63% of our students at universities are girls, where are these men? Because if you look at ratio in the population, it's 52% women, 48% men. What are they up to if they are not in tertiary institutions, they're not in schools, they're not performing in schools? Because if women, as women perform more, again to the point that was made by both Umbisela and Tapo, is that women just can't handle it. You're buying your cars, you're buying your houses, you are better, and who do you think we are? It's often the attitude. So to feel good about myself, you know, at its smallest sort of indication is that I'm going to create an MMS and make fun and we laugh as boys and we, you know, but at its worst, which is often the case, is that I'm going to emotionally abuse, I'm going to even physically abuse or sexually abuse, because that's how I'm going to feel good about myself. So what am I saying? I think there's a bigger societal issue. It's a major societal issue and I mean, one of the things that I say in our school is that we've got to start talking to the lives of men and boys. To also say, not just to the boys, but to the girls, to everybody as well. The success of women is really important. And it's great that academically, you know, especially academically, we're seeing women make progress. The rules of corporates is another story. The rules of companies have not changed to favor women. So there's a ceiling there because the rules, it doesn't matter what rule you look at, it's built for the benefit of men in the workplace. So there's a disconnect. There's a disconnect actually that you see that women are not making progress. I'm really proud that I'm associated with the South African Institute of Chartered Accountants because you know what's happened to our profession, and men have messed up, you know, our profession. Right now, on Thursday, we appointed a new board, and in a board of 9 people, 7 are girls, are women. But having said that, we have to address this issue of men, because as that happens, just in our profession, I mean, with an annual general meeting, you have men who are up in arms, says, no, but we can't have this. We can't have a situation where our profession has been taken over by women. You know, that's what happens. And how that may play out can be very dangerous, can be extremely dangerous, because we may do whatever to pull those women down, to show that after all they're not that good. That's what may happen. Even the same, even in schools. The success of women should not be seen as a failure of boys, or should not. We should do something about making sure that boy child also sees that there's a place for them, that they must succeed, and it's important for women to succeed, for them to succeed too. Because if it's only one side, if we focus on just the success of women, and we're not focusing on the success of boys as well, the social problem that we're going to have is going to just get absolutely worse. It's going to get worse. So that's why we have to show men and boys that you can be a good man. The fact that you're succeeding and your wife is succeeding is actually great. We can do much better as a continent. We can do much better as a country if we are all succeeding. So I just want to make those couple of points. Thank you very much.
Can we start with Maria and then
Thank you very much. I wanted to have a conversation for understanding ourselves as men and women. I think what we've been discussing here is more reactive to what is happening. So I'd like us to journey back and actually ask ourselves a question, to say if these hands that we're looking at are hands of mothers and fathers, what are they producing? Because garbage in is garbage out. The science that we are talking about and women that we are talking about are our children. What is it that we are not doing, that we ought to be doing? We're talking about a big national program. And I'm saying let us discuss the small agenda, the agenda of the house. What is it when I look out at the rapist, when I look out at the batterer, when I look out at the girl who feels she is not confident, she needs somebody else to assure her. What is it that we are doing wrong? And it's a conversation that we must have. Because when we start having that conversation, we're talking prevention. And we're starting at base. We're not starting when we're reacting to programs. So where is the family? Where's the mother? And by the way, it is very simple to say. Very important to understand. It is your right as a woman. If that man is absent, okay, tough luck, I'm here. I'm going to do what I need to do for my children. And many women have done so for us. So where are we? What is it that we're missing? As we discuss this whole thing, let's bring that into the mix.
My name is Faith Ngwane. Let me start off by I wasn't going to say this, but Dadima Hasana said something that I just need to respond to. When the Bible says women submit, it doesn't mean women should be doormats. So we need to understand the direct translation from the Greek and Hebrew. That verse says you need, as a woman, entertain the needs of your husband. That's what it says, basically. But having said that, I'm a reverend by profession, social worker and reverend, so that's why. So, having said that, even in the Bible, there were 2 rapes. You don't have to talk about religion. And God aborted them. Once somebody raped his sister, half-sister, and if you go to, I don't know to be preaching, 2 Samuel and Genesis 35, there were 2 rapes in the Bible, and God abhorred them. So this is something that God doesn't like himself. In terms of solution, and I agree with everybody who has spoken about solutions. For me, there's one aspect that I think is very crucial: family values. You see, a rapist doesn't come out of nowhere in the bush. He comes within a family. So I truly believe that we need to, every corporation is moved, even organizations, by the value systems. So I believe that even families, we need to be moved by family values. We need to have conversations with our kids and our children. As old as I am, my mom was a nurse, retired nurse. She has never sat me down and spoken to me about what girls go through. So in black culture, we don't have this culture of talking to our kids, of having conversations and deep conversations. So I think we need to start also from the family, around the table. Let's have one night where we all sit at the table and we're not looking at the TV, watching movies or watching whatever, and talk about real issues. Because if we don't, the kids will get information from next door, or from around friends. And so the value system then, is tarnished. So I truly believe that the conversation should also start from the family. If we raise girl child and boy child according to the value systems that we as parents would want, the kids will follow. It doesn't matter the conversations outside, they'll be rooted. So I truly believe that this is where we also need to start, in the family. Family values are very important and are very crucial.
Thank you. Ms. Valentine.
I've been listening to all these conversations about our gender-based violence in South Africa. And my main worry is that this country, particularly South Africa, is a very dangerous country compared to other African countries. I don't think other African countries are experiencing the same problems of gender-based violence as we are experiencing in this country. And maybe in looking at solutions, we could also look at other countries, maybe neighboring countries, to say, how do they do it? How come they don't experience the same problems that we are experiencing here? Can we learn anything from them that they are doing right, that we are not doing right in this country? In addition to all these other suggestions that I've been listening to, maybe we also need to look outward and say, can we learn anything from other countries? And also to question ourselves to say, why are we ourselves such a dangerous community? Why are we so angry as a people in general? What's going on in our psyche?
Good day, my name is Alva. I'm so happy I actually came to I'm not one to speak out. Actually, recently, I come from a family where an uncle married to my sister, my mother's sister, was molested and even raped almost everyone that has came into the house, including myself. I came out about this when I was in grade 8, I think, and the family pushed it under the carpet. And my aunt said, it's fine, I'll stay with my rapist. I'm sorry that you guys have to go through this. I carried that with me, and it's like a bag of tomatoes. You carry it, it smells, and you need to let go of the weight. So I let go of the weight, and I was being civil, and I'm able to be in one room with him and talk. And recently, an aunt of mine who was in an abusive marriage came to work for them, did not make things easy, and tried his way with her and the rest of any child that comes into the house. So I'm very happy that this is the first time I've actually spoken about this at a larger scale. I've always tried to protect my aunt, to say she didn't know she was getting married to a monster. And she apologized. She sent a message around 4 in the morning and apologized to say, I'm so sorry that you had to go through emotional and physical pain from this person. And I wanted to retaliate and say, why are you apologizing for him? Mom Angie spoke about culture and things that we need to change from our mothers. That is that our mothers protect our fathers. They do the wrong and they protect them. My mom is married to a man that does nothing. She does everything. Like Arabo said, you come home, it's a long to see your mom cook, do everything from, and she studied, she failed because she didn't have the time to open the books because the man is just sitting and he's not doing anything. So the one point that I'd want to make, when we found a solution and we've looked at what men do, and we found a way to fix the problem from a young age, I think it is time that men learn about women, because we've spent all our lives as women learning about men, what men are supposed to, how we're supposed to act towards men. I have never, in my little life that I've lived, met a man that has taken the time to know a woman. We always are pushed, oh, women are so moody, women have this. Yes, I'm a woman, it is me, that is who I am. I've accepted you that you are a man, and I've spent all my life, and from our parents to say, no, this is how you should treat a man. I fight every day with my brother to say, why do I have to bow down to you because suddenly you went to get circumcised? You don't respect. You want everyone to go according to your books because suddenly you're a man. And that is the culture that I've grown up, and it makes me mad. I don't want to say every Xhosa family is like that, but in the most Xhosa families that I've been exposed to, the men teach the young men to become that. And he beat up his girlfriend at the time. Everyone said hush hush, and I said, why? Why are we teaching him to say it's okay so that next time he can do it? So I'm happy that we are recreating this. Thank you so much, Mama, to be that you've opened up, and to everyone that is here, you've opened up a space for me to say this. And I've tried not to be emotional about it, but now that I'm speaking about it, it makes me emotional that I've carried a weight and I've dropped it, I've carried it, and right now I feel that I'm carrying it because I'm talking about it because my family has never come to a resolution. It's okay. It's okay. You can sort out yourself. I'll stick to my husband. And what Usisi said that when my aunt is a very successful woman, so you find out it's the same thing that was spoken in Yawuti. When you are a successful woman, it's so hard for you to go away and say, guys, I'm struggling. I can't do this. I can't leave my husband. I can't. So she calls in and she apologizes for her husband. And because we don't have an open space as Black women in families where you can sit to your aunt and talk about such issues, because it's like, you're too young. What do you know? But I see, and I wanted to say, but Magazi, you cannot apologize for a monster. He is a monster, and he's not going to change. So, thank you.
And then we'll come and close.
Hello?
Yes, please. Yeah, then we'll come this side, please.
Is it okay if I speak in a Xhosa language? Okay. This discussion, Kumbuza, as a nation, we under cultural development arrest. Ngiyabulela Mama Angie for putting this discussion together. Zininzi izinto we need to talk about. I think the first thing we need to accept
is that we are afraid of dealing with the truth. We have gone through so much as a people. And I'm afraid that we keep referring to the men as dogs, trash, and we forget, as Mama was saying, that trash begets trash. Now, let's be very careful what you see. What I would like to see is that men and women, as Dr. Masana said, we come together and we have a discussion. Because you see, our past history left all of us with very deep scars that we are afraid to talk about. So keep ducking and saying, oh my goodness, what's going on? Our men, we are paying for this. How many of us woken up one morning and said, Kudodake, or boyfriend, how is your pain today? Has that man asked me what I'm going through with my pain of years? And we talk about our young men not working. How do they work? How do they support their families when their fathers cannot leave anything for them? Ukuthi bakwazi to build a home for their wives and children. We don't have that anymore. And I think we really need to go back to the drawing board and talk about the real issues. The issues of what happened to us as a people. We can talk about and highfalutin about it, that we've got jobs, we've got women working in big companies. It's fantastic. And we applaud that. But the problem is this. We can't give our children what they really need, which is the land. They need the land to be able now to pass it on to their generations. And if I don't have that as a man, I will have issues. So let's think about it. That we need to seriously discuss the issues for what they really are. Let me give you an example. I remember when I was growing up in Orlando with my brothers. My mom had 3 boys and myself. He lost what my family. I used to see my brothers wake up in the morning, but had to shower, and get bath outside because I call it a shower too. But they used to use those fast formers with tea. And they would out, wash, and then would get dressed. And they didn't have jobs. They would go outside and then come back and go like this. And this was a ritual every morning. Do you know what they were looking for? They were looking at us. Because they couldn't leave the door. Go outside the door, bring up us. So we were arrested mentally and psychologically. So these are things that we need to talk about so we can free our men and so that they can free us. It's a conversation that has to happen between all of us. We can talk as women. It's going to end up there. But if we don't include brothers into this discussion, we are never going to get anywhere. That's all I want to say.
There are 2 things that I want to talk about. Fortunately, my father was not a migrant laborer to address the issue of culture. And one of the worst beatings that I've ever received from my parents was when I fought with a girl And I lost that fight, by the way. I still got voice beating because my dad said to me, "Have you ever seen me beating your mother?" And the answer was no. And in the family, my dad was very muscular and he was known to be beating other family members who beat their wives. And as an uncle, there was a time he beat one of my aunt's husbands until he fainted. And he even taught us to say, you know what, these boys are going to abuse your sisters. Fortunately, there's only one sister at home. So, it's 4 boys, so we can always go and fight the boy. So, he always said, if you do nothing when your sister comes here bruised, then it's going to happen over and over again. So you need to protect your sister. So what I've noticed also, the trend is most men, they target women without male support around them. Once someone gets abused once, without the sister's permission, you confront the guy. It tells the abuse gets, unfortunately the prostitution will the police will also be against you, but it's reality. And unfortunately at times we are forced to protect our sisters. The only issue of migrant laborers, there are fathers who went to work in Joburg, would come back after 6 months and they would stay only for a weekend. And during the weekend, I don't think they had enough time to see their kids, to see how their kids are doing, because they had to see their relatives and everybody. And for some reason, it became a culture in the most black communities. They think that it's not a man's responsibility to take care of their kids. But our grandfathers, unfortunately, they do not have the privilege to spend time with their kids. But how do we change that? How do we learn? How do we unlearn to say, our fathers, it was because of the system of the day that they had to be upset. We have to be present because we sleep with our kids in the house. We don't have to always, be out and only come back during the time to sleep. We always have to take care of our kids better than our grandparents. Thank you.
Thank you. My name is Hope Uche. I'm a mental health practitioner by profession. Thank you for organizing this, and I'd like to thank the panel as well, and I also appreciate the gender mix there. A lot has been said by others, I don't want to go back, but I think we need to, somebody once said, we need a second Truth and Reconciliation Commission. We had a first one, it did its job, but then as a nation, we need a second one. We are a very wounded country, and it's getting worse and worse. And I think, I could be wrong, but personally my observation is that post-94, there has been so much empowerment that happened, and it's almost like it's focusing more on women, and I think it makes sense because previously they were disadvantaged. And most men feel like they are being left behind. And I must say, I remember just post-94 there was a big gene issue, and from my home, my father was very conservative. I tell you, post-94, I could see that he got a bit restless with this Beijing issue. Because my mother started having this, she's always going into makeup and all this. I think maybe that's also where she was getting empowered one way or the other. When she starts flexing her muscle in the house, my dad would say, hey, you see this Mandela thing now, it's creating problems. Like the fact that he was also talking about women empowerment. So I've seen that, but like I say, we need to focus now more on solutions and maybe being practical. And the other narrative has come about also was that, for example, this campaign of bring a girl child to work. And I like also what Karabo said, that, young women, they're being economically empowered, they're able to stand on their own, but there's something about boys feeling left behind one way or the other. And I think personally for me, being a single mom, raising a boy child, I'm having that struggle as well to say, is he getting left behind? Because the elder sister is quite very up there. Girls are, we've got the statistics there from Taten Nosana that they're doing very well. So, creating those balances between the two genders as we raise our kids. And I think those are the conversation, things that are practical. Maybe one should be the very second TRC, and also making sure that we bring boys along as we economically empower our girls.
I'm going to be very brief. Thank you very much for this session. My name is Zanet Mtego. I was brought up by a single father who was widowed at the age of 50. And he happened to be a boxing trainer as well. So he brought us up the same way that he brought up the boxers, or took care of the boxers. But one of the most important lessons from my father was that he affirmed us as girls.
Yes. I realized that the conversations that we have and the conversations that our mothers and aunts have in their own spaces, whether it's within marriage, whether it's relationships, children, whether it's work. And it's hard to have those conversations and to ask Uma, be like, hey, doesn't it, like, me and my client, I can't, like, what's happening with me? I'm not sure if we're connecting in the right way, we're not having the conversation we used to have. And one of the things that I'm trying to do is to be more open and to be able to say, you know, today, you know, these are the things that I'm trying to understand within myself and within you as my partner, because I'm not seeing and feeling and trying to understand, but where are you in your frame of mind right now? What are you dealing with? What are you struggling with? What can I help you with? And how can I help you de-stress in certain ways? And I feel that we all walk around with so much on our shoulders and we don't have a safe space to unload. And you think home is a safe space, but you're walking around so tense, you're in the kitchen one day, and you're thinking, okay, so if I'm going to approach this conversation, because when he walked in the door, he had this look, and you're not sure how to safely approach and say, what is wrong, because you don't know how you're going to approach that subject. So with my platform, Sisterhood Hour, is to try and have those conversations, whether it's about keeping it together as a corporate person. I'm a young mom, I'm a young wife, and I work in the spaces where I need to walk into a boardroom and my English has to come out the way. Because if it doesn't, people will be like, oh, you know, where's she from? You know, why is she here? Why is she addressing me? And it's those things where sometimes I want to say, I don't have it all together. Today is just that day where I can't mother, I can't wife, I can't even show up for myself. So how do I then now say to my daughter who's 18 months old, be like, girl, you can go out there and do anything that you want to do. And you're 18 months old, all she wants to do is go outside and run around and just play. But when she grows up, she needs to see me, and she needs to see Mama did these things, and she could do it confidently because her husband was with her. And it was that reciprocal relationship where dad had to go out and do these things, and mom had to do her things, but they showed up and they showed me how it's done. And these conversations start at Future Nation schools. These conversations start in our boardrooms. These conversations start here. But to also say, culturally, we need to be able to say, I can go home and say, Mom, I'm not sure. Or go to my aunt and say, I'm not sure. This is what's going on. No, he's not hitting me, but there's that conversation when he says certain things where I feel, that didn't feel right, it didn't feel good, that was not love. Because when you're in the family settings and your family gatherings, we're laughing, we're joking, everybody thinks that everything's great. And then recently I had a cousin of mine say to me, you know what, I was actually asked when you left, are you happy in your marriage? And I was like, well, why wasn't I asked? Because I'm the one in the marriage. Because I'm the one who needs to say, you know what, hey, this month was hard. Because now if the question's not coming to me, I'm supposed to walk around and be like, hi everyone, how's everybody doing today? It's so great to see you. You're darling, that's born, hey. You know, but if no one is coming to be like, you've been very quiet. Like, I know you as this person, but there's no twinkle in your eye. That smile is so plastered. What is going on? And then I can feel comfortably enough to say, yo, Auntie, I'm not sure. Or I can phone you and be like, I'm at your gate. I'm here with my child. I just need a place to lay my hair and figure myself out. Because I'm depressed. And I hope there are more of these dialogues that go to further places, to schools, no matter the age group, or the varsities, or in the workplaces as well. Because, as Mokane said, we're all just keeping it together. So we need that place where you can take off your shoes, put your handbag down, and put your cell phone away and say, okay, there's no hashtag today. I'm here to talk. I'm here to cry, I'm here to sit, I'm here to figure it out, because when you walk out that door, the world expects you to have it all figured out.
So one session will not do. I think we're looking forward to more sessions like this, and as well as to solutions as well, because talking of it doesn't help. We have to understand the situations, we have to understand the problems, and we have to come up with solutions. What we need to understand as well is each and every one of us can make a difference where we are. Now, Maria spoke about a hope. Mama Kate spoke about the value system as well. So we have to have a multi-level approach. What happens at home, what happens at school, what happens in the church, what happens at tertiary institutions, what happens at work as well. And I'm hoping, I don't want to talk much, I'm hoping that in the next session that we're going to have, we are going to look at moving forward. We have spoken about the issues. How do we then support each other so that we are able to move forward? How do we support each other so that we are able to impact on our communities as well? What skills do we need? What toolkits do we need as well to take this forward? But I think each and every one of us here has a role to play. And we have to do that introspection as well to say, how can I, wherever I am, contribute towards dealing with this area? Thank you.
Thanks, Chelsea. I just feel I have to say something before the wrap up. I just want to recognize Sister Nella. I know she was very busy. Thanks for being here. I feel, and I'm sure you will agree, that 2 hours is not enough. So besides having another session, I think 3 hours will make more sense, because I think opening it to the floor is where we actually get the view of the nation, basically. We have a lot of issues. A lot that was said makes a lot of sense. Umeza, you brought the other dynamic of gender-based violence, where it's just things that are said that are not love, right? Because I think it's important to define abuse. It's not just being beaten. It's not just, it's also just that thing where you feel you're not in a safe space.
Yes.
Because when the world is so harsh, you want to go to your safe space and be safe and feel safe. And as parents also, we need to be able to say, Punja, you're not going to judge me. You know, you actually help me. The kitchen teas that we have, the last one I went to, I promised myself that maybe I won't go to another one. Where as mothers, we are actually giving the wrong message. Why? Because culture has to evolve. It really has to evolve. And we are the custodians of culture. Sisleta and I were in some function yesterday. And when we spoke about the culture thing, I could just see one man that he could actually even hit me. You actually forsaking our culture for the Western culture. The thing is, it's not about that. If the culture allows abuse of one gender, if the culture allows dominance of one gender, that culture is not right for that society. And that culture has to evolve. Now, when it comes to religion, I believe that we have a role to play, because if there is any chapter in the Bible that makes me feel less just because I was born again, that is not right. Religion has to evolve. Once you need a doctrine to unpack something, there's a problem, because it has to be accessible to everyone. Women have emotions, men have emotions. husbands have to submit to their wives, and wives have to submit to their husbands. And love goes both ways. So I think the message has to change with religion and culture, because that is the core. And as rightfully said, it starts within families, the value system that you pass on. But I think when you wrap up, it's important that we have a platform, and I rely on the young people to say, after this, we won't go away and wait for the next call from Mrs. H. We'll have a conversation, have a platform. I think we all have your email addresses. If we don't, please leave your email address, because we need to have a platform where we exchange ideas, so that by the time we meet again, it's like, as we said about this, this is the way forward. Self-goals, I love that. You know, the social media is messing us up. I'll go to Mauritius 5 years ago. I'll be feeling low and I'll just post the Mauritius pictures now. And I'll feel like, so I think, and also this thing of couple goals, you feel that you need to have a partner so that you look a certain way. I love self-goals because I'm enough. I'll be better in a relationship starting off being enough on my own. And no one owes me happiness, but I do, right? So I just wanted to say those few words, but more importantly, the platform. I'll actually talk to the team as to how we do it. Thank you so much.
You are right, it's 2 hours, it's a crime. But the conversations that have been born out of today, because you know, we are not cleaning the wound. We literally are bandaging it so that Batwaska bona that we are bleeding. And for me, what I'm taking out today is we need to redefine what successful women look like. You know, it can't be ticking the box of a good marriage, a good job, and you know, even if something is not working, success is not an outward thing, it's an inward thing. We need to begin to ask, and a friend was in Bali and they asked her, are you happy? They don't ask in that world, you know, about external stuff. Because the minute we start saying, are you happy? Married women who are not happy will define it differently and walk towards finding a path of happiness. And I think the issue of success was also told with the success of women should not be at the expense of the failure of men. Because again, we are creating a new problem. And of course, culture has got to be dynamic, context specific. In fact, if you do a journey in Israel and begin to unpack how the Bible was written in the context of Judaism, you will realize that a lot of it was their culture finding its way in what we today call the Bible. And if you really, really dig deep and go to the original transcripts, and I'm Catholic, you will remember that there were dilutions. And in fact, to manage society, things had to be changed to be in a certain way. We can therefore not be arrested, because we are not in the God of religion. We are in the God of love. And at a point where the book itself is no longer talking to us, I think we'll remember, scripture, 10 commandments plus 1. No, let's just be serious about it. God said, I'll give himself. I wrote 10 commandments and Jesus added 1. Honestly, if everything else is not working for us, can we just carry the 11? Because those will take us where we belong. I refuse to have women saying, let's pray for her husband to change when he's abusing her. We are not going to fast for an abuser. Because guys, unless he gets counseling, he's not going to change. And mom, this, maybe the preaching needs to change. Mama, we are fast for abusing men. Tambani, near counseling, sorry, fast so that we get right there. Because that is where our teaching is. And of course, to the solutions, and I'll go to the panelists and give them a second to give us solutions, but I've noted these. A safe place for established women. Guys, let's start there, because these are empowered women. If the empowered can be safe, it is easier for them to pick the other women up. And therefore, as the next step of this, I'm sure I don't know if I'm staying or I'm safe or whatever, we'll find a name, the young people are here. It must start to do that. Hashtag, I'm sure I'm staying is the one I know. Hashtag Ndondon. Yes, guys, we are not leaving until you find that name today. Because if we leave you, we come back see food. We can't what you saying, that talk shop thing. I come from the gender movement. From Beijing I was then. When women came. I have so many conference badges on gender issues, guys. It's true. Let's not lie. So let's stop conferencing, let's start doing something. A safe place for women, and I don't know what that looks like, but the smart women around you will form a smaller group to get us there. But the issue of the narrative is quite critical. And I like what Mamria said, he said it starts with the home. But I think what you do not realize, and I'm a mother of 3 teenagers, we don't know how to do it. We don't know how to do it. Therefore, perhaps we are here at Sifiso Publishers. Somebody needs to put up a hand to write a toolkit on how to raise children. In a way that we can have the conversation. Because you know, at Bakulise, right? Nobody's telling us what that right is. We are freestyling. We are literally freestyling. So I hear you when you are saying that, but I think that toolkit for me is important. And you were talking about your school. Already there's a set place for a narrative. You know, when we were growing up, there was a course called guidance. I don't know if Hello looks different. But guidance had the how-to. So perhaps Sifiso Publishers with somebody, a how-to say as a mother, as a single parent. But what is the narrative? Because to go home and say, go have those conversations, we will not be able to, because we neither have the language, the lexicon, of how to talk. Secondly, we don't know how to approach Amazedis and the millennials, because you know, our children are the why. Masabati why we are sabat to help us to do that. And of course, what I see is we really need to have, somebody needs to start consistently writing about women to men. And maybe that is directed at men so that people can know. You know, we are taught what makes a man tick. But do we know what makes a woman tick? And what Mom Judy just said just now broke my heart because women don't know what love looks like. And as a result, Mabati began tanda. You can ask, do you know what love doesn't look like? For you to know what you define as love looks like. And who's telling who with that? And I know we have all these sessions, but this is the last time by word to we have a session where nothing happens. And lastly, there's an issue of the healing, and guys, we can talk until the cows come home. Mom later hit it on the nail. Until people heal, they can't move on. Until people, today we were just saying, what is it, why? But we need to go back to basics and say, let's just open the wound, cut it open, take the pus out, so that we can meaningfully heal. And that is a higher purpose agenda. And Bameji was talking about there's this something that government is doing, and I know before you roll your eyes, government is going to roll. But it needs civil. Remember, the government is a consequence of its civil society. We are the government, we get the government that we deserve. And therefore, can we change the government because we now have a voice? And begin to ask for the things that we want to get. I think that discussion, when I'm asking Obuse Gender Commission, Baba, that healing conversation, this year, can you spare us the posters? And maybe we have a conversation around healing, a discussion of men and women, because the posters we've got, the conferences we've had, it is a challenge that we're putting to the Gender Commission of this country, to the Human Rights Commission of this country. We know our rights. We know the rules are there. Can we for once have a genuine conversation about healing? Because that's where it starts. You are empowered to take us there. Man just saying I impose an issue with the gender people. Now I'm sure I always say taxpayers man, but we are pleading for you to get us there. And I guess so these were the solutions that I got from everyone else. So in 1 second, may I please ask the panelists to just, in summary, give us the solutions, and perhaps some of them are my friends. I'm going to look the other way and ask them to volunteer to take at least one aspect of these things that we are talking about forward. Starting with you, Bambu Yesem.
Well, thank you so much. But you see, colleagues, when we talk about a culture that it is toxic, what are we talking about? You know, when you are in the mountain, as a young person, you are told that that place, you are told that you must go out and take the dead, not on the woman that you left and you profess or you think you could get married. Go and take out the dead on any other person. Now it is this level of secrecy, this level of silence that in fact makes this to go on. One of the things we must do and we should do, and I think the commissioner comes from, is engaging traditional leaders. And they say, but when your daughter sleeps with someone from the mountain who was told that, look, you need to take this day. One of the things we must do, and we don't talk about it, is that what is being discussed there. Yes. But having said that, Auslander, thank you for the contribution. But you see, when women said men are trash, they are not talking about us as individuals. They are talking about the system of state. That means 1 in 4 women in this room, will be raped in a lifetime. But Caesar and I, when I'm out in the street, our fears is I'll be marked. It never dawned. I never contemplate, think about being raped. So when women say men are trash, it's not an individual thing. It's about the system that privileges us. For one simple reason, that you and I have got penises. That's all. Sometimes they don't even work these penises.
To have friends that I've known for many, many years. So last night, I had dinner with my friends that I've known for 40 years. We started the high school together in 1979. And I took an opportunity to ask them, what do they think I should say as part of the solutions for today? One of them is here, Milton Ngosi. Thanks, Milton, for being here. He works for the BBC. Milton said, you know, when you look at the statistics, there are 22,000 murders in South Africa, I think, per year. Only 3,900 of those are women. So, majority of murders are men being murdered. And therefore, this talks to the culture of violence. But unless we start with understanding that violence, that's where this issue starts, we are missing the point. My other friend, Emay, said, you know, amongst us here, there's 10 of us, 5 men, 5 girls. He said, we need to own up. He says his job is to teach his son not to be like him. Because he's an angry man. He was raised to be angry because, your point earlier, women need to be protected by other men. And we said to him, like, that's violence. And it is not a solution. We've seen that this is what is messing up our situation today. So I think we need to take one step back. Why are we violent? And how do we begin to deal with that first? Because if a man is going to feel that they should not hurt or kill another man, then they would not kill a woman. And that's where it needs to start. Just my example, I started by saying, my own experience of abuse. My ex-husband, when he talks about how he treated me, it's because for the first 6 years of his life, he was abused by both his parents, who were forced to marry, and they hated each other. And they took out their anger and hatred on him. So he grew up, by the time he meets me, I'm everything that he wants to hurt, destroy. So there's a thing where they say, hurt people. Thank you.
Yours.
curious. Maybe the message I want to give to women is sometimes when you meet a guy or a man, it is also important to check his character. Because a leopard does not change his spots.
Yes.
You know, you can always say, house of change, all those things. But character is very, very important. It depends where that person comes from, what he has experienced, like we have said. Maybe he was abused. Maybe he's an abuser because of violence is violent. Doesn't matter. He might be violating other men. He might be violating his friends, and he'll be violent to you as a woman. So sometimes we must actually not be driven by love to say this person has a 500 SL, is a CEO, is what. Go deeper. Check where you come from. I always teach about character to say, where are you coming from? Why are you divorced 4 times? Why? I thank you.
So I'll try and squeeze everything. My first one was basically speaking to, having conversations in homes and so forth. I think we should also not make it just the mother's role to speak to the girl child or the boy child. Let's have it as an open conversation. And let's not just speak to the girl child about the periods. Let's speak to everybody about everything. So I think we should just open up the conversation and not categorize conversation. This is for the girl, this is for the boy, mother has to do this, father has to do this. No. And then my second point is opening up these conversations not only in organized and formal spaces. We have the street corners, we have the parks, we have the taverns. These sort of conversations need to be happening in those spaces as well. Because not everybody is in these spaces or invited in these spaces. Not everybody hears about them. And it does not have to be organized formal spaces where we need to be having this conversation. And the last one is basically to everyone, individually, to say, are you a safe space for other people to come to? Are you a safe space for a little girl to come to you and say, somebody just touched my butt, what do I do? Are you a safe space for an LGBTI plus member to come to you and say, this is what's happening to you? We all individually need to be safe spaces. So I think the one thing you should take away, go and ask yourself, are you a safe space for the next person next to you?
Thank you very much. My takeaway is that the healing is critical in order to address the anger and the violence. South Africa is full of the walking wounded, and wounded people look for opportunities to wound others. So until we talk the truth, Ausley, that what are these wounds? What the TRC did, it unearthed and then it put elastoblast. So those wounds keep bursting out, and those wounds are responsible for most of the ills in this country. So we need to get to the bottom of that and talk about it. And then parenting. We cannot continue with parenting being trial and error. We need to talk about these issues. Because the more we treat it as trial and error, we bring up wounded young people. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Did I hear hashtag safe space now? I did hear it, so I'm checking if somebody's opening a page before we go. We start with the picture, we'll get the notes.
Yeah.
We are rolling. So because we now have hashtag safe space, it means hashtag safe. I know I'm not a Democrat. Who writes me hashtag safe space? Mom Judy, they're saying. So we are rolling. SB 1729. We have launched a movement. And that movement has got and the first section, but we did a commission. The other one is, guys, let's contribute to the hashtag safe space. Let's begin to tell the truth about what we had today. Most importantly, May Angie wrote a book. She will be signing it out there. This is not a marketing punt. Unless a nation that doesn't read perishes. So maybe this is a first book. You will see out there, Siviso Publishing has got a lot of other books, because the more people read, the more they become aware. The more they become aware, the more they become empowered. I would like to thank our host, Dr. Judy. We are honored that you took your time out. We know your schedule is very busy. And I think it is important, because this is what role modeling is about. You know, to have time for things that matter. We honor you. Now, Baba, you could be spending this afternoon golfing somewhere. But you know, when you guys make it important, everybody else believes it's important. Mam Leta, Mam Ria, for coming out, and all the other people I don't acknowledge. When you guys take the time out, you are sending the message that this is the right thing to do. Because people are looking up to you. So I'd like to honor you. To my lovely panelists, to share your pain with us, we do not take that for granted. But we are hoping this, let's start to create positive gossip, if that's what gossip is about. When people begin to talk, we say, hang on, let us tell you what the facts are. So may your stories be amplified for the memories of those who've lost, so that because of them, something changes. Manji, thank you for being the guardian. You know, you and I met a couple of years ago, and she said there's something called intergenerational dialogue, because I was like, okay, let me just do it anyway, because she says so. But today I get it. Today I understand it. So on my behalf, and on behalf of everyone who's here and those who could not be here, thank you. We honor you. Ladies and gentlemen, please travel safe. And please mail so that you can exchange numbers. If you didn't want to say anything, please guys do, because we are not going to lose you in the hashtag I'm Safe movement. Thank you and have a greater day further.